Have you ever noticed how some people seem to know exactly where to hurt us? Sometimes it's a harsh speech, a look that despises, or even that cold silence that eats away inside. And the hardest thing is that you respond. You get exhausted. You try to explain yourself. You try to fix the situation. But in the end, it seems that the person who hurt you always comes out on top. How many times have you felt helpless, trying to understand why someone who should respect you acts as if your feelings don't matter? This video is for you, who are tired of feeling hurt and want to learn how to deal with it in a calm, firm, and intelligent way. Today, you will discover 10 ways inspired by Stoicism to deal with those who hurt you, without ceasing to be who you are, without losing your dignity, and without getting worn out by those who don't deserve it. Here you will not learn to return the pain. You will learn to protect yourself, to recognize your own worth, to walk away with respect for yourself, and most importantly, not to let them get to you inside. One of the greatest lessons of Stoic thinkers is that no one can hurt our soul unless we allow it. So if you want to learn how to take care of your mind and change the way you face these situations, stay with me until the end. Take the opportunity to like this video, subscribe to the channel, tell us in the comments what touched you most, and access the special material in the pinned comment. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Learn to take care of your emotions before giving an answer. The first important thing is to understand that all pain caused by someone needs to go through a type of filter before reaching what is deepest within you. This filter is your ability to control yourself. Responding immediately, impulsively, and driven by emotion is precisely what these people expect. They feed on your lack of control, your exaggerated reaction, your suffering. And the more you react without thinking, the more you give your power to those who hurt you. Therefore, before responding, take a deep breath, observe calmly, try to understand what is happening, and only then, if necessary, choose how to act wisely and calmly. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said that it is not events that harm us, but the way we think about them. This is true to this day. When you learn not to react in a hurry, you stop the control the other person tries to have over your feelings. This doesn't mean you're being weak or keeping quiet. It means you are in charge of yourself. And this is precisely what the Stoic philosophers called inner strength, understanding that we cannot control what happens outside, but we can protect what we feel inside. Imagine that you are wearing invisible armor. That's what happens when you learn to take care of yourself from the inside. You don't need to respond right away to show firmness. Real strength lies in not letting someone else dictate how you should feel. When you create this inner protection, you begin to see attacks as attempts to get attention rather than as signs that you are worth less. Here's a simple and powerful practice. Before responding to a provocation, ask yourself this question: is this worth my peace? This small question can prevent you from reacting on impulse. And when you practice this enough times, you begin to realize that certain situations don't deserve any of your energy. The biggest trap for feelings is believing that responding quickly is proof of strength. But it's not. This is exactly what those who want to control you expect. Responding on impulse is acting predictably. And what is predictable is easy to manipulate. Wisdom lies in choosing carefully when it's worth talking and when it's better to just walk away. And remember, you don't need to show anything to anyone. Your inner peace is like a garden that only you can care for. Protect this space with care. The stronger you are inside, the less space others will have to hurt you. This is the first step to becoming someone with real emotional strength. Number 2, indifference. It's one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself from those who try to hurt you. Nothing bothers someone with bad intentions more than seeing that their provocations were received calmly, with silence, with a calm face. Whoever tries to hurt you wants to see your pain. You want to hear your voice changed. You want to feel like you have power over you. But when you respond with a calm look, with serenity, with a silence that shows control, everything changes. It's like changing the game. You show that you are in control of the situation, and most importantly, that you are in control of yourself. The philosopher Seneca said, "The best answer is not to become like those who attack you." Indifference is a wise and beautiful way to put this into practice. It's not pretending it didn't hurt. It's choosing not to let the other person control your feelings as if you were a puppet. Yes, you feel it, but he doesn't give in. You notice the attack. but you don't bow to it. Now it's up to you to decide the tone of the conversation. True indifference is not being cold. It's about being mature. It's understanding that paying attention to people who don't care about you is a huge emotional expense. You start using your energy carefully. You choose where it's worth getting involved and where it's better to just observe and move on. And this attitude does not go unnoticed. It hurts more than any scream. Because whoever provokes you waits to see your reaction, waits for you to cry, get angry, or beg. But when you don't do that, it shows that you're no longer playing the same game. You have grown up, and those who grew up no longer fit into the same discussions as before. If you want to show that you will no longer be manipulated, stop explaining yourself all the time. Stop trying to convince others. Stop answering everything. Answering everything is sinking to the level of someone who just wants to provoke you. Let the silence take care of it. Let your calm be your answer. And never forget, the more you show that you are at peace, the more confused those who tried to get you off track become. Indifference is a message without words, but it screams loudly, "I'm not part of this game anymore." And believe me, this message is worth more than any speech. Number 3, set limits without yelling and without having to explain yourself all the time. One of the most common mistakes made by those trying to protect themselves from those who cause pain is thinking that they need to raise their voice to be heard or justify themselves all the time to be taken seriously. But that's not true. True power is in saying enough calmly and firmly. It is not the volume of speech that brings respect, but the clarity of your attitude. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic thinkers, said that the soul remains strong when it refuses to be shaken by everything that happens on the outside. And this strength begins to grow the moment you decide to stop wasting your energy explaining the obvious, that you deserve to be treated with respect. Those who hurt know very well what they are doing. Pretending you don't know is part of the manipulation game, and the more you try to justify your limits, the more you leave room for them to be questioned. You don't need to ask permission to take care of yourself. You don't need to convince anyone that they have the right to be treated with dignity. Limit is like a clear line, even if it is not shouted. It's the point where you say, "From now on, I won't take it anymore." Anyone who doesn't respect this limit, even if they remain physically close, has already moved away emotionally. Many people think that setting limits is being rude, but in fact, it's the opposite. It is a sign of love for yourself and emotional balance. When you learn to set limits with serenity and security, you become like a mirror. Whoever wants to stay in your life will learn to respect you, and whoever doesn't want to will walk away on their own. And that deep down is a good thing in disguise. Practice this every day. Instead of arguing for a long time, say short, direct sentences. "I don't accept that kind of attitude. That's not how I talk. If you keep talking like that, I'm leaving." Be clear. Speak firmly. No shouting. No drama, without giving 1,000 explanations. A calm tone of voice with firm words has much more power than any shout. Those who truly respect you will understand your limits without you needing to exalt yourself. And those who don't understand, in truth, never wanted to respect you. They just wanted to have power over you. When you start doing this, something powerful happens. You are no longer seen as someone easy to control, and he starts to be seen as someone who values himself. And from then on, no one else has the courage to cross the line that you made clearly visible. Number 4, rewrite the narrative. One of the cruelest traps of getting hurt emotionally is starting to believe that you deserved what happened. The harsh words, the criticisms that are repeated day after day, the looks of contempt, all of this slowly begins to enter your mind, as if they were truths. And without realizing it, you start to look at yourself the same way those who hurt you do, as if that distorted vision was his true image. But today, you will turn that page. Today, you will take an important step. You will learn to rewrite your internal narrative. You will stop repeating the voices of the past and start listening to yourself with affection, respect, and truth. The philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And being master of yourself begins when you decide that no one else will write your story in your place. The words thrown at you are like arrows made from unresolved hurt. They are pieces of pain from those who have not yet learned to heal themselves. They are not absolute truths. They don't define who you are. They are just failed attempts to make someone smaller to feel a little bigger. But that doesn't represent you. That's not you. You can't control what others say about you, but you can choose what stories you believe. You can decide which words to let in and which to leave out. If someone says you are weak, cold, insufficient, stop. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just the distorted view of someone who is trying to belittle me? This question alone has the power to break the programming that pain tried to install in your mind. And this is how, with sincere questions and honest answers, you begin to rebuild your real image, strong, dignified, whole. The greatest revenge against those who tried to destroy you emotionally is to grow, mature, and become more and more who you really are. Not the caricature they invented about you. When you start to strengthen yourself from within, attempts to label you lose strength. You begin to observe from afar, calmly, like someone watching a theater from above the audience. And then you realize, these people don't even know who I am. And to be honest, they don't even deserve to know. Starting today, build a new habit. Whenever someone tries to belittle you, repeat silently, "That's not my narrative." Do this as many times as necessary until it becomes automatic. Little by little, your mind will free itself from the invisible chains of other people's judgment, and you see yourself again as you really are, valuable, unique, whole. Remember one important thing. Those who hurt others have no authority to say what someone's worth is. Anyone who tries to diminish you is in fact revealing their own inner emptiness. Your mission is not to absorb this poison. Your mission is to build an identity so solid, so true, and so well-rooted in itself that no negative word can cross its barriers anymore. Number 5. The pain they caused does not deserve the stage of your life. Every time you give your thoughts, your time, and your emotions to the pain someone has caused you, it's like you're lighting up a stage and putting that person at the center of the scene. Without realizing it, you end up leaving your own story in the shadows, as if it were just an extra in the life that should be yours. That's not fair to you. What's more, this needs to change. Now, when you focus on who hurt you, you prolong the effect of that pain. Instead of letting it go, you feed it. Instead of putting out the fire, you add more firewood. The philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right. Often the suffering is not so great because of what happened, but because we relive it, repeat it, remember it. And each memory reopens the wound. You analyze everything. Every word said, every offensive gesture, trying to find some meaning. But that only binds you more to the pain. What should be just a passing memory becomes a chapter that never ends. When you pay so much attention to the wound, it starts to take up more space than it deserves. It stops being a scar and becomes an identity. And that is dangerous, because you start to believe it's the pain, which is trauma, which is what happened to you, and you forget who you really are. You are not what hurt you. You are the one who survived. You are what continues, even with your heart scarred. The pain needs to go back to where it belongs. A point on the road, not the entire path. Now it's time to change the question. Instead of wondering, why did they do this to me? Try asking, what can I build now that this no longer defines me? This shift in focus can transform your life. Because you don't have the power to change the past, but you have the absolute power to decide how big it will be in your present. Pain may even have entered your life without knocking on the door, but that doesn't mean she has the right to stay forever. She doesn't pay rent. She doesn't deserve a fixed space in your mental home. Train your mind to use this energy differently. If someone hurt you, turn that pain into fuel. Use it to grow, to know yourself better, to create something beautiful from what seemed lost. Don't harbor grudges. They are like invisible chains that bind you to what has already passed. Those who live trapped in sorrows live with their backs to the future. But those who decide to move forward, build new scenarios, open new doors. And believe me, nothing bothers those who tried to hurt you more than seeing you prosper. In peace, serene, shining. The greatest form of revenge, if we can use that word, is to show that you have not been destroyed. On the contrary, you have blossomed, without having to carry the weight of anyone who tried to turn off your light. Free yourself from the role of victim. Get the lead role in your story back. You deserve to be remembered not for what you suffered, but for what you built from the pain. Your life is much bigger than what hurt you, and the pain they caused you doesn't deserve the stage of your life. Number 6. Invest energy in those who value you. Few things tire the soul as much as spending time trying to get respect from someone who only knows how to ignore you. It's like watering dry, cracked soil, hoping that a flower will grow from there. No matter how hard you try, nothing blossoms. Just frustration, sadness, and a tiredness that doesn't seem to go away. While you strive to be seen by those who despise you, you end up turning your back on those who really see you. For those who truly listen to you, care about you, hope for your good. And therein lies a powerful turning point. It's time to stop chasing emotional crumbs, to stop begging for crumbs of attention, affection, respect. Direct your energy where there is reciprocity, where there is sincere exchange, where there is affection that doesn't need to be asked because it simply happens. Epictetus said, "Wealth does not lie in having many possessions, but in having few needs." This also goes for relationships. When you need to be accepted at all costs by someone who rejects you, you are living in a relationship based on scarcity. But when you value those who already value you, you enter a cycle of emotional abundance, where love flows and doesn't hurt. It's like leaving a desert and entering a garden where you don't have to try so hard to prove your worth, because it is already recognized, where there is respect, care, and most importantly, truth. You need to stop begging for attention. You need to learn to choose wisely where to put your heart. And that starts with a sincere look. Observe coldly, who are the people who hurt you the most? And who are those who, even silent, have always been by your side? Who are those who supported you, but perhaps you left aside, while trying to please those who never made an effort for you? This reflection may hurt, but it is liberating. Because often we spend so much time trying to win the affection of those who don't care, that we forget to nurture the bonds that are really good for us. Changing focus is not pretending that pain doesn't exist. It's admitting that it's there, but deciding not to give it any more energy. It's choosing a lighter, more honest, more lively emotional direction. It's saying to yourself, "I've had enough of suffering for those who don't care." And the more you practice this, the more you realize how much strength you were wasting trying to repair relationships that were already rotten from the roots. Now do a simple but powerful exercise. Think about who really values you, who listens to you carefully, who welcomes you without judgment, who holds your hand when the days get heavy. These are the people who deserve your energy, your presence, your dedication. Everything else is emotional distraction. It's noise that only slows you down, because those who hurt you frequently don't deserve priority. But whoever values you, oh, that one deserves everything from you. When you start to make this switch consciously, something changes inside. You become stronger, you renew yourself. You create an environment around you where it is possible to grow lightly, without fear, without unnecessary pain. Always remember, what you feed grows. If you continue watering dry land, you will only reap disappointment. But if you invest your light where there is truth, you will flourish, because you deserve relationships that make you grow, not bleed. But there is a catch. If you've been trying for a long time to get out of conformity and ignorance, and you can't do it in any way, maybe it's for other reasons that you don't know what's causing this. But I know what it is. It's anxiety. Anxiety comes like a silent snake and poisons you without you feeling it. This leaves you infected for days, months, and even years, and if you have that, it would be like living sick. However, there is an antidote from the Stoics, which together with modern psychology can free you from all this, just as it freed me. I made a video showing how you can get rid of this poison in your life. It's in the first comment. Click on the link in the first comment and cure yourself of this poison of anxiety. Number 7. Master the art of walking away gracefully and coolly. There are silent attitudes that say more than 1,000 words. One of the most powerful is knowing how to walk away from someone without making a fuss, without raising your voice, without dramatizing. Walking away with elegance is a mature choice, which does not need a stage or an audience. It's like calmly closing a door, knowing that on the other side there was nothing worthwhile. It is a gesture that conveys a clear message. I know my worth and I don't need to prove it to anyone. And the most curious thing is that often those who hurt you only realize what they lost when they realize the silence. When you notice his firm absence, without explanations, without long speeches. Just silence. Seneca said, "A wise man is self-sufficient." And that's exactly it. When you understand that you don't need to beg for respect or justify your departure, you achieve a form of freedom that doesn't depend on others, just on you. You simply decide that that relationship, that place, that coexistence no longer deserves your energy, and go away. Cold, lucid, firm, no anger, without needing to announce that it will change. You just change. And this destabilizes those who are used to seeing you fragile, reactive, emotionally trapped. Because true power is not in shouting. It's about leaving in silence. It's about following your own life so well that you realize too late that you've lost something precious. And the strongest of all, you didn't go to prove anything, you went to protect yourself. But be careful. Walking away gracefully is not the same as running away, nor is it the same as holding a grudge. It is, in fact, an act of self-respect. It's understanding that insisting on relationships that hurt you is like hurting yourself with your own hands. It is to say, enough, I deserve more. If you want a practical tip, here it is. Stop responding. Stop trying to explain. Reduce meetings. Cut the frequency. Let your absence speak for you. Silence, when it comes from those who previously spent time trying to be understood, becomes a cry for freedom. And best of all, when you learn to coolly walk away, you get closer to yourself, meets again, reorganizes itself, and realize how light it is to walk without carrying the weight of bonds that never did you any good. Because sometimes the greatest act of self-love is to turn your back and move on in peace. Number 8. Show with actions that you do not depend on other people's validation. There is an invisible and almost unbeatable strength in someone who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. When you live with purpose, take care of yourself, grow in silence, and firmly follow your path without begging for approval, the world pays attention, and the message you convey is powerful. I'm enough. This posture deeply bothers those who tried to diminish you, because these people feed on your doubt, your insecurity, your need to be accepted. When you no longer need their opinion to feel whole, they lose control, and that changes the game. Epictetus already said, "If you want to be invincible, don't enter competitions where you have no control." And perhaps the most toxic competition of all is this: trying to be accepted by those who will never truly accept you. Those who try to please others end up losing their bearings. But those who live based on principles find a freedom that cannot be taken away by anyone. Don't say you love each other. Show, take care of your body, from your mind, of your money, of your healthy bonds. Grow in silence, evolve without the need for applause. And when you do that, you completely dismantle the logic of those who expected to see you dragging your feet for attention, because its silent evolution makes more noise than any scream. Do you want proof of self-love? It's not in the nice words, it's in your choices. Choosing to move away from toxic environments, choosing not to react to provocations, choosing to nourish what is good for you and reject what exhausts you. Practice a new habit. Instead of asking yourself, "What will they think of me?" would ask, "Is this in line with who I want to be?" When this question begins to guide your decisions, you will realize that you no longer need anyone's approval, just your own conscience. And in this new internal space, there is no longer a place for those who want to control you with criticism or rejection. Because those who live authentically live freely, and those who live freely command respect without raising their voices. Life is too short to try to please someone who has never seen their value. Show with your peace, with your progress, with your silent steadfastness, that you understand the game, and that now you play at another level. Number 9. Turn pain into fuel to grow even more. Pain arrives without asking for permission. Sometimes it comes as a loss, a betrayal, a deep disappointment. Other times, it appears in the form of silence, absence, words that hurt more than any physical wound. And when it arrives, you have two choices: let it paralyze you, or use it as a boost to become even stronger. This is one of the biggest keys to Stoicism. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's not about putting on armor and ignoring suffering. It is about to choose what to do with this pain. You can use what hurt you as a stepping stone, or as a stepping stone. It can shrink, or it can grow. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great masters of Stoicism, wrote something powerful. What stands in your way becomes the way. In other words, what seems like an obstacle today could actually be the path to your next level. You may not have chosen to be hurt, but you can choose what you build from it. You have this power, and when you transform suffering into strength, you stop being a hostage to circumstances. You become the protagonist of your story. Think about how many people have made a leap forward in life after suffering great pain. A broken heart that became art, a professional failure that became reinvention, a rejection that became motivation. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. And more than that, it was transformative. This is true emotional alchemy, taking anger and turning it into focus in the gym. Take the sadness and dive into self-knowledge. Take frustration and channel it into building new projects, new dreams, new versions of yourself. Every drop of pain can become a drop of energy. Every tear can become learning. And every fall can become momentum if you decide to get up more firmly. This is not revenge, this is liberation. Because the greatest response you can give to those who hurt you is to keep growing. It's moving forward with so much light that whoever tried to erase you becomes overshadowed. It's showing that the blow didn't destroy you. It made you stronger. And therein lies a powerful secret. Pain may even be unavoidable, but staying stuck in it is a choice. Today you can choose to transform pain into a path. You can decide to grow so much, that whoever tried to diminish you no longer has the emotional height to reach you. Grow up, for you, for everything you will still live, for everything this pain taught you. And above all, to prove to yourself that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop your inner greatness from blossoming. Number 10. True power is remaining calm when they expect you to explode. There is something deeply admirable about someone who remains calm when everything around them seems to call for shouting, for fights, for chaos. When someone provokes or hurts you, what they usually expect is to see your reaction. He expects you to explode, to lose control, to say something impulsive and regret it later. It's like she sets an emotional trap to see if you fall. But when you choose the opposite path, that of firm silence, of strategic calm, of the serenity that observes rather than reacts, something powerful happens. You show that you have reached a level of self-control that few people can achieve, and this disarms any attempted attack. Because whoever tries to reach you wants to see a spectacle, and you offer silence. Epictetus, one of the sages of Stoicism, said, "Anyone capable of angering you has become your master. If someone can get you off your feet, unbalance you, make you scream, that person, even though they don't deserve it, is in control." And that is serious, because it means that you have handed over control of your mind to someone who has no responsibility for it. When you respond with fury, you give away the key to your emotional state. But when you remain calm, even when everything inside you wants to react, you take back your power. You show yourself to be master of yourself, and that is a strength that is impressive. Important to understand. Stay calm. It's not weakness, it's intelligence, it's maturity. It is awareness that not every provocation deserves a response, and that not every attack deserves your energy. This tranquility in itself is already a way of imposing yourself, a silent scream of inner power. And what's more, so it mirrors, for those who try to provoke you, their own lack of control. Elegant coldness makes the other person realize how emotionally unstable they are, and that, yes, hurts more than any aggressive response. Want a simple exercise? The next time someone teases you, count to 10 before responding, but count with intention. Each number is an anchor. 1. I own my mind. 2. I am bigger than this situation. 3. I choose peace. 4. I am free. 5. I don't depend on anyone's approval. 6. I am not a puppet. 7. I am whole. 8. I have value. 9. I choose calm. 10. Now I can decide wisely. Over time, you won't even need to count anymore. Your mind will get used to not giving in to the impulse. You will become naturally armored. It will be that rare type of person who, even in the midst of the hurricane, continues to be the very center of peace. And it is at this point that you understand something great. You no longer need to shout to be heard. You no longer need to justify yourself to be respected. You no longer need to reduce yourself to fit into small relationships. You now know that there is a silent strength within you, an emotional intelligence that speaks louder than any words, a calm authority that commands respect without raising its voice. You are no longer someone who lives reacting to others. You are someone who clearly chooses where to put your energy, your time, your heart. And that changes everything. If this teaching made sense to you, keep it with care. No one hurts your soul without your permission. And from today onwards, you stop allowing it. You choose silence where you used to scream. Choose distance where you previously insisted. Choose growth where it previously shrank. Choose freedom where it was previously lost. Because true power is choosing your peace, even when everything seems to invite you to conflict. May you have the courage to be that point of balance in a world full of noise. And may every pain, every provocation, every attempt to destabilize you only serve as a reminder of how much you have already evolved. You don't need to prove anything. Just live with truth, calmly, with inner greatness.